Crap. I managed to think before my carriage launches to the side and I nearly fall over from the sudden force. The Nomu's gaze follows as I stumble and back into the corner opposite of where I stood, looming before shoving a fist to the side of the carriage again and causing it to shake. I could hear the panic below from the horses attached to the carriage when the Nomu rams its fist into the side. This time, splinters fly as the door is smashed inwards. The dark blue creature's hand continues forwards through the opening it had created in an attempt to grab me. Thankfully, I seemed to snap out of my momentary shock I had fallen into, jumping back and avoiding the creature's grasp by backing up and into my seat near the window. Think. I inwardly shout, eyes darting about as the Nomu continues to reach for me, my head turning slightly to the side to see the window. The windows was much too small for me to fit through, but the crimson mess of hair just outside brought me some relief. At least, some type. Kirishima practically jumps onto the side of the carriage, the side where I'm at and where the door is still intact. I can see him yank on the handle a few times, the lock on the inside stopping him from pulling it open. I couldn't reach to unlock it because of the large Nomu trying to grab me. Speaking of which, just as I glance up, I see its free hand grip the side of the hole it created, ranking its hand back and tearing apart the wood, stopping it from reaching in further. Kirishima? I shouted, turning to the soldier, his gritted teeth, reeling his arm back to a jolt as his hand slams through the middle of the door. Fingers sharp and pointed, he opens his hand and yanks it back, completely tearing the door off the side. Leaning in, he ducks beneath the Nomu's wavered limb, turning his back to the creature and shielding me as his upper body is finally broken through and slammed into us. The carriage is smashed and my eyes squeezed shut. When we are thrown out with the momentum, the back of my head being cupped protectively before we hit the grass and roll to a stop. After a second, I cough, swiftly blinking as my eyes open in alert. The grass is rough against my back, or maybe those are chunks of wood left over from my carriage. I'm unsure. The sun beams brightly behind him, casting shadows over his features, his mouth agape as he pants, staring down at me with his slightly furrowed brows. He's leaning over me, covering my body with his as I stare up at him, breathlessly meeting his worried crimson eyes before he gulps. He seems to tense up, but I catch the sight of another shadow approaching us. Behind you, I stutter out, and Kirishima blinks, snapping out of his flustered state when his eyes widen when the Nomu reels in his arm back. Dust and dirt fly up, coating my vision as I squeeze my eyes shut. The after effects of the Nomu delivering its fist into Kirishima's back. But once the haze clears, Kirishima is perfectly fine. His hair pretty messy from all the commotion here and before. He otherwise looks perfectly all right, opening his eyes to stare at me again. Whoa, are you okay, my lady? Don't ask if I'm okay. You just got punched by that thing. Are you okay? I immediately throw his question back onto him, staring up at him like he's crazy. Which he is. Have you not heard he's gone mad? But we don't get much time to bicker, as my eyes flicker behind him to see the Nomu stepping back, its fist growing back into place. It's getting ready for another blow. It had hit him with so much force that it had blown his own limb off. I promise to protect you back at the castle, remember? His smile is almost sheepish when he repeats those words, sharp teeth on display as I deadpan. I don't think now is the time to. My voice is cut short once again as thunderous stomps of the Nomu near, its arm reeling back again, and I wonder why I keep trailing away from the obvious problem at hand. All right, he replies, eyes glancing up to the shadow hovering over us before leaning down so he can shield me once more. My hands press against his chest as he grows near, the skin hardening and growing rough edges, while the parts of his face I can see sharpen and crack as well. Then a light passes over us. A familiar soldier jumping past and landing on top of the Nomu before sparks shoot out in all directions, nearly hitting us both in the process. Well, nearly hitting me. If it weren't for Kirishima, I'd been hit. The light dies out quickly, and my eyes look up to check on the soldier over me once I feel his skin smooth out. His chest rises and falls with his quick breathing. His eyes soften back into normal once again as he turns his quirk off and looks at me. Are you okay now? I'm the first to break the silence short, his head suddenly nodding in confirmation when I sigh lightly. The sound of fighting seems to have subsided, bringing to light the steps of footsteps hurriedly approaching and causing Kirishima to quickly lean back. Is the lady okay? A panicked voice asks as I push myself up onto the stunned position, barely turning when the black-haired soldier crouches beside me to check. Yes, I am fine. I'm quick to answer, but it's true. Besides a couple of scratches here and there from many splinters and a short fall, I am perfectly okay. But the small sparks of smoke leaking from Kaminari's back piqued my concern as he turned to talk to Kaminari, the one who had actually taken down the Nomu. Zero nods, lending me a hand so I can get up on my feet before letting go and keeping his distance. Hey, Kirishima, the black-haired soldier calls, causing the redhead to turn in our direction with a questioning look on his face. Those burns look pretty bad. You should get them checked out, he informs, bringing the soldier's attention to his still steaming back. Lady Yen, the head of our troops alerts as he hears, breaking through the two's conversation and causing them to go stiffen, besides Denki, who has his hands up in double thumbs up at this point. Good to see your guards did their jobs, he states, earning an easy nod from me before he clears his throat. The Nomu has been driven off, but I believe we shouldn't try traveling further since some of our transportation has been, He looks back. Destroyed, he informs, and I nod along, sending a glance across what had ever been destroyed. We'll camp here for tonight. Tend to the wounded. With the extra daylight, we split the soldiers. One half will go through the wreckage and salvage whatever they can, while the others set up. My voice trails off, referring to everything else needed for the camp, and the commander nods, briefly agreeing with my command before leaving out to carry all the instructions. Time skip. The orange flickers of sunlight is briefly pushed back by a shadow as someone approaches from behind me. Lady Yen, a voice addresses, capturing my attention and causing me to glance over my shoulder. Yes, soldier? I question after a moment, turning back the way I had been facing to look over the map once more. Oh, no, I'm not a soldier. He chuckles lightly, nervously, voice quickly falling silent when I raise a brow in his direction. With a flick of my hand, he obliges to the silent command and steps to the side before swiftly to stand a bit closer so he would be in my peripheral vision. I'm one of the combat medics assigned to you, he informs, earning a positive nod and acknowledgement from me. I was wondering if you were injured in any way, shape, or form during the ambush, he slowly continues. Glancing up from the map, I sent a smile his way. There are others who could possibly use your help more than me, but thank you for the offer. I easily decline, but he deflects, awkwardly taking a step back to leave. Oh, sorry, my lady. Actually, I cut him off before leaving, trying not to be rude, but something just popped into my mind. The reason I am perfectly fine as of now is because of my guards. They took a lot of damage when we were ambushed, I commented, earning a swift nod from the medic. Could you go and check on all three of them for me? I ask. Is there anyone that was severely injured? He ponders, worried, and I shake my head. Not that I know, but there is one with some pretty bad burns on his back, so watch him. I explain while he sends another nod my way, smiling at my request before saying his words of farewell and bolting off to find them. After he leaves, I return my attention to the commander, tapping on the map where we should currently be. We've practically lost half a day's worth of travel, he repeats, refreshing his words from earlier in my brain and earning a nod from me. That's all right. Getting there a little later shouldn't be a problem. I'll speak to the king and inform him about the ambush. I promise easily, causing the commander to nod as well. We're nearing the border valleys of the kingdom, so we should be in the clear from any more attacks. And with the open land and actual road coming up, we should be able to pick up the pace if needed. I explain. He nods after hearing me, but then clears his throat, gaining my attention and causing me to glance up to the man with a questioning stare. Is there something wrong, Commander? I wonder, and he lightly shakes his head. No, Lady Yen. It's just that you don't have a carriage anymore and will need to travel on horseback. He brings up, and I nod in understanding. I assume that could aid us in moving faster. Smaller load and all. He comments, and I reply with words of agreement, turning away from the map and falling silent. The kingdom grows near, and so does the end of my mission.